Wonder, Councilman Keener, could you do us the honor, please?
Dear Lord, thank you for letting us be here today, Father. And as we seek you, I just pray that those who do would rejoice and be glad, knowing that you're Lord of the universe, Lord of all. Thank you for the work here we're going to do today, Father. And I pray that you would bless it as we go about this business. Thank you for all those that are in attendance and visiting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Jelly?
Dick White,
Here.
Frankie Hargis, Buell England, Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird,
Honey?
Julia Coates. Here. Jody Fishycott, Meredith Fraley, Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin,
Honey.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Here.
Tina Gloria Jordan,
Present.
Lee Keener,
Honey.
Curtis Snell, David Thornton,
Honey.
David Walking-Stick,
Here.
Kara Cowan Watts.
Honey.
We do have a form.
Thank you. Look for approval.
Motion.
Motion made and seconded. Okay, let's see. All in favor? All opposed? Down to our reports, number one from Marshall Lamb.
I'll make mine brief today. Jerry Snell and I attended the National LIHEAP Conference last month, and along with a couple of our staff. And there is some regulation coming through on the LIHEAP program that could affect our program in a minor sort of way. In the past, participants who got services from the state on the regular program could come over when we had our crisis program and get help if they had a cut off or got into trouble. From now on, if this regulation goes through, they're going to have to state which entity they're going to get it from. I mean, they can't get it from them and get it from us. Of course, it hasn't gone through yet, but that'll be the major thing. And it may affect us in a good way. We may get more funding out of it. We never know.
Any questions? Chuck?
On that point, is that true even if we come back with tribal funds to supplement the LIHEAP program, even those supplemental crisis funds could not be used to help those folks?
What we hope is it goes by how many you're going to serve. So if we have an influx of clients because they come over to us, we should get more funding. So that's the positive end of it.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's good. But suppose somebody is on the state of Oklahoma and gets the regular LIHEAP, and then we offer through tribal funds a crisis
Right.
LIHEAP, which I think we've done before. The federal government, if this rule passes, would still consider that some form of double dipping, even though it's really tribal funds that
Right.
second.
Well, I don't know, we could get that clarified, but yeah, you're probably right, they may see it that way. The good point about it coming over to us is we give more money, and we give it, we try to beat the state in giving it, and and we give a better cooling program, you know, where, and that's not the cooling program I'm talking about. So, until, you know, I don't want to get excited about it until we see that this happens.
Well, it sounds like it could increase our numbers, and that's
Yeah,
good.
but I just want to give you all a heads up on that.
I also wonder if, as you are doing the Elders in Need program for the first time, isn't it possible you run across folks who qualify for that, but for whatever reason haven't historically applied for LIHEAP, and can you take that opportunity to make sure we get those folks in the system on LIHEAP? And I mean, do you guys actually, are you tracking that in some way, or is there a way to track that, maybe cross-reference the two lists?
Yeah. What we're going to, we've been surprised with this Elders in Need program because we haven't got the influx of clients we expected. So we've extended that date, and may look at doing some revisions on that after this, it's August 2nd, I believe is the date on it. And so we've extended the deal, and we're trying to get the word out, you know, to make sure we've got everybody. But we'll make changes as we go along. This may not even happen.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Lee, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you have any idea when that may have, when the lawsuit?
No, I couldn't get a time on that, but we'll keep in constant contact with the state rep as soon as they know.
Will it be this fiscal year?
Probably next week.
Next?
Yeah, it's too late in the season for, because they're just like us, they start at the same day, be next year.
Okay. And right now you're taking no new applications for Lockheed, is that correct? No new applications, is that correct?
The only new applications we're starting is we're going to start the summer cooling program for the elder and disabled homes. And we're starting to mail out this week on that.
Okay.
And so that will affect our Lockheed.
Okay.
And that's, you know, because of the heat, when there's extra funds in Lockheed, we are able to do a cooling program, only if there's extra funds. So we have to limit it because of the funding on who we serve, so it'd be elder and disabled.
Okay. So will there be any preference over disabled or elderly, or are they treated the same?
We looked at our numbers and we think we can cover both deals. What we won't do is open it up at this point. Now, in the past, usually when there's a crisis across the United States, whether it's a disaster or whatever, Lockheed usually is given more funds. And so we don't know if that will happen or not because of the extreme heat that the whole United States is going after. That's a possibility that we may get some, another appropriation.
And when you say you're not going to open it up, it's still open to the elderly and disabled, but not everyone else?
We'll contact them and say, we're going to start our cooling program. And what we usually do is just make sure that someone hasn't moved in or moved out of the household and they haven't had any major changes. If there's no major changes, then we just go ahead and do that.
And when will that start? In a week or
We've
two?
started the process now. We've started mail outs now.
Oh, already mailing out?
Yeah.
Okay.
This week we'll start out the mail.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Frank?
And you're still taking the applications for the elders in need?
Yes, we are.
And they just call the local office to schedule an appointment?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Joe?
Marcia, with the amount of funds that we spend on Lockheed, what would be the possibility or would be cost feasible to have our own propane company?
Our own propane company?
Yes.
That would be,
Something to maybe look at?
I know what other tribes have done in the past, and this is like 12 years ago. I know they bought their fueling cost from a propane company. They bought so much of it, at the cheaper rate.
Sure, yeah. If you buy it ahead,
Yeah, it always goes up.
you get the rail rate and buy it ahead of time, like by April, then you get the
Right.
really good discount.
Yeah, that's, we have never explored that, but I always thought in the back of my head, that's not a bad business deal to do that ahead of time.
Just a thought.
Don?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's awful hot to be talking about blankets, but have they been ordered? Do you know when they might be coming in?
I haven't heard about the blanket, because we're so hot over there, but I'll check into it for you. We ought to, what it is, they sent us a prototype. The first prototype we got, it wasn't the right color, so we sent it back, and that's the last I've heard about it. So we ought to be getting another one pretty quick.
I was going to need them for door prizes pretty soon, and
Yeah.
hopefully they'll be in by then. But they have been ordered, you think?
They've Speaking of blankets, this is just an idea that I had when I attended the Lockheed conferences. They have vendors everywhere, and this lady was selling blankets, and I went over and talked to her, and she had a smaller blanket. It was almost for like a lap. And I thought, boy, that would be really good for our elders and our new elder advocates to have on hand for those who are real vulnerable, and because the older we get, the colder we get. And so I'm going to talk to Jerry about using some funding for that we may have available to purchase a few blankets just to have on hand for those that either they're bedridden or that if they're in a wheelchair, and we might look at putting a Cherokee on them or something.
Get something definite, but let me know.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Time?
When you get a price on this new size blanket, would you let us know? Some of us may want to purchase them individually, as we do the light blanket.
I meant to bring they sent me one, of course they want to sell it to me, but this one was made out of complete, it was wool and something else. I thought it was a little too heavy for the elders, and a lot of people are allergic to wool. And so I thought, well, maybe there's something else we can do. But this new program, I really think we all start thinking about things we need for the elders. And I saw that, and a light bulb went out. I thought that might be really neat to have, because we do have 12 elders.
When you get your person on board for this area, will you give me the name and address, because I want to start passing that along to our elders. When you get the person on board for that project, for this area, I need the name and address, and phone number, because I want to start passing that information along to our elders.
We're doing the interview process now, but it's mostly in-house, and then they'll go out to areas. That's right.
Mr. Thornton, did you have a question?
No, thank you.
And Marcia, thanks for extending those dates too.
One more
We
thing.
appreciate it. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
One more thing. I don't know who all has heard this, but Lori Hand, the director of our child care services, she's been there almost 20 years. She's leaving us September 2nd to take another position. And she's worked for the tribe around 34 years, and we're going to have a little honoring ceremony for her, and of course y'all are invited, and I'll get you all the details on that. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
David?
Afternoon. Start with the next Housing Authority Board meeting is tomorrow at 5:30 over in the Housing Authority building. Got a few disclosures to make. Under the emergency or handicap accessibility department, Joanne Fields, brother to Housing Services employee Dwayne McCarter, Joe Young, uncle to Tribal Councilwoman Frankie Harkness. Aileen Russell, brother is John Washington, and uncle is Dwayne White. Those are Housing Services employees. Rose Philpott, cousin to Housing Services employee George and Shirley Hubbard. Karen Hernandez, who is a Housing Services employee. Faith Giffey, mortgage assistance, aunt is Councilwoman Fulbright. For low-rent apartments, Paula McIntyre. Mother is Housing Services employee Doris Vernon. Home ownership, Joanne and Macy. Ann is Housing Services employee Anita Gibney. And Clara May Roach, niece is Stacy Bighorse, Housing Services employee. And those are the disclosures for the month. Talk about the dorm assistance for just a minute. We're extending that deadline to apply to July the 31st. Applications can be turned in and everything at the area offices, the area housing offices. Just want to make sure I said that correctly. The dorm assistants, the applicant needs to live within the 14-county jurisdiction, but the assistance can be provided outside the jurisdiction. So if they went to OSU or OU, they could get the $1,000 per semester. Youth grant, adult grant. After last month's meeting, we wanted to report on that each month on kind of where the money was. I got a brief report for that. Today, or as of Friday, we have funded 1,676 youth grants. We have available funding for 840 more, and we have 180 applications that are outstanding, where we've given them out, but they haven't turned them in yet. The adult grant, we funded 566. We've got 168 more funding available, and we've got 8 applications that are outstanding. On our sports teams, we've funded 83. We've got funding available for 49 more, and we have 8 applications outstanding. And on the livestock, we've funded 11 livestock shows. The balance that's available for use is $12,200. Also, we're working to place the youth and adult grant applications in some area offices to where the folks that are out not living in this area don't have to come to the nation, the complex to get one of those. So I've got staff that are going to make site visits and update them on what we're looking for. The main thing is not just to track the application, but also to tell them or see what they're going to use their volunteer hours for, to see if it meets what we're looking for them to do. The COTA group, they've been hosting some volunteers. They had around 200 a couple of weeks ago up in Kenwood. They did a real good job finding things for them to do, but it was sure hot. That's my report. Be happy to answer questions.
Okay, thank you. David Thornton.
Yeah, David, does the community services have any type of a elder or senior citizens work program?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm hearing about one, I can't find it.
So it's strictly for seniors to?
Yeah.
No, but I can ask around.
Okay.
I'm not aware of one.
Yeah, sounds a bad idea.
And, can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Is the Redbird property up there, is it being used for rental? Its houses?
Those 15 houses at Redbird, they were put on a mutual help program. It's leased to own.
Leased on, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, it's trash job. How many of them are leased?
There are 8 occupied, 2 folks are moving in, and we've still got 5 we're processing applications. It's been kind of a chore to find folks that qualify down there. But I think that right now we've got enough applications that we're going to be able to fill the rest of them.
And what you just reported, you do have money in the adult sports program?
The adult grant and the youth grant, sports teams, and livestock. We've got funding available for all those.
Thank you.
Chuck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. David, we've had some folks that have come up for those applications and call in for those applications. People come in to this office in Tahlequah, they can get an application for the adult and the youth and the sports teams, and staff's all clear on that, because I know for a while we didn't have funding, and now we do, so everybody's on the same page.
I've got my fingers crossed that we've got them all lined out. We're also actually going to see if we can get the gentleman up at South Coffeyville who does a lot of outreach to where he can have some of those, and we'll be able to, just like the area office, they'll know what we need, and he'll have access to those. Because it is, even to go to Claremore from South Coffeyville is not an easy task.
That's true, and I appreciate you all thinking in those terms, that there's some folks in our community that are, at this point, more experienced than I am in getting these applications filled out, and they can help us do that, so I appreciate that. Was there, I got an email from somebody who asked about whether there was funding for a group of youth, a youth organization as opposed to individual youth. Do we have a separate program for that, or is this
Just the sports team.
just the sports team? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That I'm aware of.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Kara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is that the same report that you read to us on the numbers in the written report you provided us, or is that different?
No, the written report is several days old.
Can you email what you provided to us?
I've got copies if you.
Okay, that would be great. Thank
I
you.
didn't,
This is hard to follow all those numbers.
Okay, Kara, were you through?
That was it. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I've got Curtis.
Yes, David. Do we have any funds for tree trimming around residential homes?
That's not been something that we've done in the past. For privately owned homes, for a home that the housing authority still has under management, if it's causing problems, then they can go in and they got money to do that. It's just not something that we've done with private homes that I'm aware of. Now, through natural resources, there are some things that they do. I'm not sure that tree trimming is one of them, but
Up in our area, there's a lady who's got an old tree hanging pretty close towards her house, and I've helped her a lot. She wouldn't come up and cut the tree down for her. And I took a look at it and I said, well, I'll cut it down, but it'll probably fall across the house. I don't have no liability.
have you seen it? Have you seen it?
That wouldn't go very well.
Yeah, he's,
Have you seen it? If it's something that you think, hey, that's a safety concern, send me her info and we'll see.
Good. And then the Bull Hollow Community Building, we're trying
No,
to get.
I got with Billy a while ago, Thursday, we're gonna try to go by there Thursday, so I was gonna see what time, if you were available.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll go by. Okay. I'll get with you afterwards on maybe a time.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
I've got Don next.
David, could you give us an update on those 7 new homes they're building in District 3, county line east of Fort.
I'm gonna ask Gary to come up. He was gonna have a little report for that.
Okay.
Those homes are getting close to being finished, we hope. And I'll
Have
be
you got
sending you.
buyers lined up?
Yes, all of them. We have folks lined up for all 6 of them. There's 6, or no, 7, all 7 houses. There's folks lined up for. Also, we will be sending you all out an invitation in the near future. We are planning on doing a final finish up event. Those houses showing that they're complete, all of that good stuff, giving the folks the keys, and we want to invite you all to that. It will be, we're planning on about that second week of August.
Did you get a list of buyers?
Yeah, I can, I will see if I can find that information to release it to
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And also, I just passed out, I think someone had asked about the applications for the new home construction program. I've outlined those here. It looks a little different, and the reason why is because we classify the applications we get into 3 categories. Those that have land, those that don't have land but is willing to accept land that the housing authority has, and then those that says, I don't have land, I don't want to take your land, but I do want a house. So those are the three categories that we have, and I tried to separate those out by county so you could get kind of a visual image of how many applications we have out there in each of the 14 counties that we have. And there are, there's quite a few out there. Some counties have more people that have land than others do. Some counties have more people that's looking for land or don't have land than the other ones do. But that's one of the things that we are looking at, taking a look at property, and I do have folks who, we get calls all the time about property that's out there, that might be out there, that might be available to sell or to purchase. I have a team of land development folks who look at that, and they put together a report for me based on just some general information, where it's located at, is there any environmental issues with it, is it a flood zone, is it right near a highway or something like that that's going to create some noise concerns, where anything like that, and we have to look at that, and we will either kind of proceed to the next step to get an appraisal and see if it's something we want to purchase, or we'll just say no, we're not interested. But that is as of, I think I did this Friday morning, so as of Friday, those numbers were correct.
Does the Cherokee Nation have financing available, and does each individual work out their own deal with the bank? What banks are used?
For the individual houses?
Yes.
No, they work, the deal is between them and the housing authority, and then the housing authority will group those together and get the financing on the.
What banks will that be going through?
We will look at several different ones. It's probably something that we'll have to put out for some time.
Thank you.
But it would be someone who would more than likely be a 184 approved lender, because it'd probably be a 184 loan.
184.
Native American loan. That's usually where you get the best interest rate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Frankie?
Actually, my question was for David. It was on the other. On the payouts on these, on the adult fund, I had a couple that called me and said they had, I guess, been on the waiting list and they got paid recently. Have we paid all of those, or are these outstanding still outstanding?
I think that we've got all the outstanding.
Taken care of?
Because we've started paying the 200.
Okay. All right, that was all. Thank you.
I've got 7 more names down, if you all could make them brief, please. David Thornton?
Yeah. David, I forgot a while ago, on this Redbird Smith area, how many acres did they end up having, or did they end up a lot, or what?
I have to check, it's been so long. We tried, if we told somebody we were going to do something, or they were going to get this or that, we tried to stay with that.
It was 5 acres before.
Well, that's probably what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tina?
Yes, David, it appears that, and tell me if I'm wrong, but we have about $168,000 in the youth grant funding, about $33,800 in the adult grant funding, $24,500 in sports teams, and $12,200 in.
I can check to see, but I don't have those numbers in front of me.
I'm just taking, if you've got available funding for 840 times 200.
These numbers that I got are the ones that are available. I got that through Ashley, and she takes out and accounts for the IDC and makes sure that we don't try to spend that as a grant. So,
Well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, should you get low on any of these funds, will you enlighten this group so that we
Yes.
can reload you?
Oh, yeah.
I think the consensus, I believe the consensus is here that we want to keep this money going for these worthy projects.
no, that's all. That's going to be part of our monthly thing, just to make sure that everybody knows.
And then the other thing is, you handle the rural water district situations, is that right?
May I?
Yes, I'll defer over to my colleague then. We've got a situation.
Norwood, I think, and I spoke to David, Mr. Chairman, briefly.
Yes, sir.
And he said he would look into it. He already has, I think he's already done some research on it.
I'm afraid that we may have people without water if we don't step in and try to assist.
I think also that Bragg's was having some issues, and we were trying to work with him
I was
also.
gonna ask, did they get that figured out or worked out?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We may let.
We met with Bragg's engineer and their operator this morning. They've got a temporary connection to Camp Gruber for right now. And we're going to work with them to try to figure out something more permanent. They're going to apply for a Water Resources Board emergency grant, and then we're going to see if we can get some emergency grant funding from Indian Health Service if they found out they need a new well.
Camp Gruber's kind of stingy with that water, aren't they?
Yeah, apparently the federal government is good at giving things away except for water.
Cherokee Nation might learn
Yeah.
a lesson, don't they? But appreciate the help, and you got the bottled water over there, that helped. I guess they bathed in something else, but appreciate all you did over there, it's great. Thank you.
Billy, our situation is that water district has had to file bankruptcy.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe they buy most of their water, and if we don't do something, we'll have 400 people probably without water.
Do you buy your water, Diane, or do you make it from Holbrook? GRDA. You buy your raw water from GRDA or finished water? Okay.
And a good portion, great portion of those folks are Cherokees.
Yes, ma'am.
So we sure need to try to, we don't want to get them without water right here in the middle of the summer.
Right.
Really, that bankruptcy was the no cost to them. I mean, it resulted from a lawsuit that they had no control over. So we've got to do something.
Yes, ma'am. We've visited with them about the situation. We've got a request into Indian Health Service for some project money to correct some of their deficiencies. I don't know if there's anything we can do about the judgment or any of that stuff. But as far as the deficiencies in the system go, we've applied for some money to try to help them correct those.
Thank you.
And thanks for the help on the water too. It's gonna get critical. It is critical. Chuck, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just two issues on housing, just briefly. On the prior housing units, you and I talked offline about the prior housing units that are being, some being demolished, the folks are given a chance to move to other units or units even within prior. But one of them said, well, we're being told that the reason these units are being torn down is because very specific other units somewhere else are being built. But it's not really the way it works.
No, that's not, that wasn't the intent. Those units are the oldest ones that we've got, and they're not in real great shape. They were old Army barracks. Yeah, before they were hauled in there. They're just in, we're replacing them because we don't, they're cost more than they're worth.
That's the explanation that I gave, and I just wanted some reassurance that it was.
Yeah, and we've got plenty of apartments there at Cherokee Heights.
The other issue is sometimes some folks, some of the low-income units, particularly some that live there a long time, have told me, you know, years ago we used to have activities, particularly for the elders. We would go down to Tahlequah, maybe the Heritage Center, and we just haven't done that for a long time. Is that something that used to be a program within the Housing Authority or within Cherokee Nation, and is it something that can happen again?
Yeah, let me kind of give you a brief history. Back in up until 2000, Housing Authority had I think we called it the Social Services Department, and they did a lot of the things that CAUTA does now. Plus, they had folks that would go, you know, making quilts, just little classes like that out on those housing additions. We haven't had that in several years. We've got some folks identified, Donnie Mackey being one of them. They're going to start those again. To have those activities out there on those housing sites. I thought they were very essential back then, and my mind hadn't changed. They still need little activities like this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Kara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the housing report, same as our other housing programs, will those new housing recipients be included in that report by name and location, same as before? Will it be clearly marked, or will it be a separate report so that when we,
It'll be a separate report. It will-
okay, and you're gonna email that to us as well as be in our hard copy documentation?
Yeah, we're talking about the Housing Authority report, right?
I believe so. I think that's where it
Yeah.
goes pretty
What-
thick.
What I'm looking at is revising those reports if they need to be revised. If they don't, we'll leave them like they are. If you have any suggestions, if you find something that's hard to read
I
or
think
hard to
it's-
understand,
I think it's just
let me
gonna
know.
be
Because
lengthy.
it's usually just lengthy, and that's what I was trying to do is to make it, is to summarize whatever we needed to summarize, but give the information there too. And that's one of the things, but it would be in a separate report that would be labeled just a new construction.
Very good, because I think is the interest that
Yeah.
if we can
Yeah.
get to that.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to dig through another report to try to find out
Okay.
which is what.
That
It'd
would-
be a totally separate report.
Thank you. And so has there been 11 homes built already? And there's been any homes built?
There is 7 being built
Okay.
over on vacant sites. That was vacant land. They were started, we didn't have anyone for them. We've since filled them over at, on the Cherokee County line. And then there was one that was on the Adair Cherokee County line.
And that was tornado victim?
Tornado victim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
that one is probably within about a week to 10 days of being completed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the ones at, and that house actually came in because a lot of the materials were donated. We was looking this morning, and that house came in about right around $46 a square foot. Because the lumber company and some others did donate some of their materials. Reduced the cost substantially because of that. But the houses over in Muskogee, we do expect those to be completed around the first part of August.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for both of your time, and thank you.
Stu?
Hey, Gary.
Yes.
What's the, have you found out what the legal, or have you had any legal counsel as far as the process for putting Indian homes on school land for the impact aid purposes?
Now,
I know we talked
the
about.
Attorney General's office was working on that for me, of course. Nason was the one that kind of took the lead on that. He's had quite a bit of other stuff to look at. I will visit with him again to see. We are looking at, it can't be done for a home ownership purpose, but I think we can do it as maybe a rental type, as a true rental type program. They would still be houses and everything, but.
But the tribe owns
But
the
no,
houses.
yeah, the housing authorities, the tribe, someone would have to own the houses, they could never be deeded to anyone. They would have to remain for a purpose.
Rental only.
But we are, we still haven't got away from that idea. It's still over there. I just don't know that it's made it to the top of the stack that it's.
Well, that's gonna hold sustainability for the school as well, if it's rental only.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why we did want to.
And if the school did at least only for 100 years or 99 years for whatever.
And that's one of the issues that we're looking at too, along with that, is to find out if we can do that and they can still take advantage of impact aid and some of the other things.
Once you get that answered, can you give me a form on that? All right, thanks, Gary. Thank you, Jim.
Tom? Mr. Carter?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Lee?
I've already been there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had one question on the legal fees in the homes being built and the land. Are we using any outside, or do we have any outside legal fees? We're all using in-house Cherokee Nation real estate?
Now, we don't have any type of legal fees. We do, rather than go through the cost of paying for preliminary title opinions, final title opinions, and all of that stuff, we just secure a title policy through a title insurance company, through an abstractor who sells title insurance. That cuts down the cost substantially from the other route. No, we don't, I mean, so is it a legal type fee? In my mind it is, but are we paying an attorney to do it? No, it's being done through an abstractor, and it's being done in the form of a title insurance policy.
And that's it.
Because it's usually everybody's fee, and it's usually based on how much money you have in the house. The last one I priced was very, very reasonable compared to what it would be for all of the other outside legal.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jim. Michael, come in.
Good afternoon. I want to report briefly on a few things. Last Friday evening on the July 6th, President Obama signed into law the Transportation Reauthorization Bill. It's called MAP 21, Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century. That particular bill was good for Oklahoma, good for Oklahoma Indian tribes. All of the tribes in Oklahoma should see funding increases through this bill. The question 10 issue that you've heard me mention in the past in the previous month reports, we believe is going to be taken out of play with this new transportation bill. The funding formula is primarily based on population, as well as the routes that were on the IRR inventory prior to 2004. They're also called grandfathered routes. It's based on that, as well as regional funding averages for the past 6 years. That's how the new formula is going to be generated. We've got someone, tribal transportation planner, going through the bill with a fine-tooth comb and pulling out highlights. A few of the highlights that I have here. The Indian Reservation Roads program, what it was called, referred to previously, is now going to be called the Tribal Transportation Program, TTP they call it. It does maintain the funding level at $450 million annually. It's a 2-year bill. There's set-asides for planning, bridges, and safety projects, and the balance of the funding going to roadway and bridge construction. Another big plus for the entire United States, obligation limitation that was in the previous bill has been removed, which does restore about $30 to $35 million to the program. The Tribal Transit Program has doubled to $30 million annually. And the bill also improves or streamlines some of the approval processes, some of the federal approval processes for projects, as well as environmental processes that we have to go through. Stands to streamline quite a bit of that. So we're looking forward to operating under this new bill, and excited that it got passed, relieved that it got passed. There were some other bills being proposed that had some negative effects on Oklahoma and other Indian tribes across the United States, but we're excited about this one and feel like we're in good shape. Got some other items I'd like to mention. We've got some community meetings coming up. You should have received information or an invitation on a couple of them. We're doing a combined community meeting for a Bell North project and North Salem project in Adair County. That's going to be at the Bell Community Building on July 23rd from 6 o'clock, starting at 6 o'clock. We've also got scheduled the 10-killer school road right-of-way, what we call a right-of-way kickoff meeting. We're in a process of beginning our right-of-way acquisition, hold a community meeting to call everyone together and kind of go over our processes and let them know that we're going to be knocking on their door sometime fairly soon. That's going to be on July 26th, beginning at 6 o'clock. And then next, lastly, we've got a construction kickoff meeting for the Twin Oaks Holic project in Delaware County. That's tentatively scheduled for August 9th. An invitation will be sent out for that, as well as for the time and the location, but tentatively it's August 9th. Some of the projects that we have underway, we've got a lot of construction projects currently going right now. Some of them are in the final stages. Shady Grove Loop is in the here in Cherokee County is in the final stages. We're wrapping that project up. Barber Road, here, also here in Cherokee County. I believe asphalt started being placed today, and so it should be wrapping up here within the next 60 days, hopefully. Cedar Crest Road and Cedar Crest Bridge are both under construction right now in Mays County. The Lee Creek Bridge in Sequoia County is well under construction. It's a bridge rehabilitation project. We're adding an 80 to 100-foot span to that existing bridge structure to get that road back open. Twin Oaks Bull Hollow project in Delaware County is scheduled to begin in August, again coinciding with that community meeting I referred to. And of course, the 10-kilo right-of-way, or 10-kilo road right-of-way acquisition is about to kick off. Lastly, I want to mention some numbers that I just got in on email right before I came up here, or some transit ridership figures for the month of June. 249 rides from Stillwell to Tahlequah, 234 rides from Sallisaw to Tahlequah, 436 rides from Claremore, from Tahlequah to Claremore, and from Muskogee to Tahlequah is 330 rides. So transit program is definitely being utilized. Those are some pretty significant numbers. A lot of folks using those service, and happy to report that. That is all I have to report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Joe, you have some questions?
Which, if any, of our Oklahoma delegation was most supportive of this Obama bill?
Which, is that what you said?
Of our Oklahoma delegation?
I think a large percentage, a large majority. I can't name individually, people individually.
None opposed?
None that I'm aware of, no, none opposed.
Yeah.
It was a lot of support.
Okay. One small issue of a gentleman there at the Barber Road talked about a drainage problem.
Yes.
And got a call this morning. You might look into that.
I spoke with him this morning. He said he'd come talk to you, and we are looking into it, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chuck?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the issue of transit, are there more dollars, do you think, that will come to some of our local transit operations or to Cherokee Nation directly from this new bill?
We hope. Part of the money, I mentioned $30 million annually. Part of that $30 million is competitive, and part of it is formula driven. So, yes, we certainly hope. We will certainly go out and apply for dollars for those programs. We put in applications every year, but yes, definitely we hope so.
I hope and I know we've done a lot of transit that I've seen since I've been on the council, but I know there's some areas where we could do more and more stops or more on-demand calls, and particularly when we're putting in 100 jobs at the Bonita Clinic, or we're putting more jobs at other places. We're going to have a tough time connecting people to the jobs if we can't get some more mass transit or that kind of transit. So if you is going through the process of this bill with a fine-tooth comb, is that what's going to tell us whether we're getting more dollars, or is it a matter of applying for these grants and seeing?
On the transit program, it is going to be a matter of applying. The tribal transportation or transportation program, formerly the IRR program, is not competitive. It's more formula driven. So we won't necessarily have to apply for those dollars, but the transit dollars we will.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Janelle?
Thank you. I have been over to look at the Bradley Ford Bridge several times. They're coming along with it. That's great. My problem is this. For the past, I'd say 3 years, the road from the Bradley Ford Bridge south 5 miles to downtown Nycut has been pushed back and pushed back. I don't know whenever it's going to be resurfaced. And that road was built as an IRR road 35 to 40 years ago. It's got a lot of bad sinkholes in it. It needs to be repaired. My question is this. How or who is deciding what road is going to be done next? Because the road from the bridge north to Bell was not very old, not in a very bad condition. It was totally redone last year. On this other road, right there that joins it, going 5 miles south, hadn't been touched in 35 years. And every time I inquire about it, it's way off in oblivion whenever the plans are to redo it. And it's something that really needs to be done. Councilor Berg can be my witness. All his family live there. I visit with them all the time. That road is in a terrible shape. So I'm just wondering who decides to redo a road that was not in a very bad condition and just ignore the Southern one.
That road is on our system right now.
I know, I keep hearing that like a broken record.
It is, and what held off the construction on that is the bridge collapse.
Okay.
There's no way we could get material back and forth, asphalt specifically, back and forth across that bridge that was collapsed, and certainly could go across the detour. You know what kind of shape the
I
detour
know,
is in.
okay.
But that project is scheduled to go as soon as the bridge is complete, which we hope the bridge is expected to be complete by October 1. That's their deadline.
They are working on it 7 days a week, so
Yeah, they're
doing
working
good.
very, very hard. I will assure you of that. But that road is scheduled, if you'll remember back, that was the road that we had a contract to terminate on.
Right.
So it was under contract at one time, and then during the time we were getting out of that contract and going through the termination process was when we had that bridge collapse. So it will get done.
All right, well, thank you.
Curtis?
Michael, who was awarded the contract from the Twin Oaks Blow Haul job?
That's Paragon Contractors out of Tulsa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tanya?
Yes, is that 10 Killer Road, is that take the road off Welling, go up towards 10 Killer School? Is there gonna be a lot of right-of-way acquisition needed?
Be quite a bit through there, yes, ma'am.
Are we going past the school?
Yes, all the way to the intersection where it tees, well, there's a Y intersection, we'll take a left at the Y, then it tees into an asphalt road, I believe that's Mankiller Flats,
Okay.
where it ties into.
And that's on the 26th, at 6 at the school?
Yes, ma'am, 6 o'clock, 26, yes, ma'am, at the school.
And on the Twin Oaks contractor, will you send us all of the subcontractors?
Sure.
And I thought I asked that we start doing that on a monthly basis, that when we award, we also identify all of the subcontractors
Okay.
and put next to them whether they're Taro.
Okay.
You might even do that on the current ones that are still underway, if you would, so we can kind of keep up with which companies are on Taro vendors. Thank you. Thank you.
Michael, the NOAA and Washington County Transport Grant, how's that look? How's that coming?
We haven't received any word. That application was submitted, but we have not received any word. It usually is a pretty long turnaround on their review process. I don't really have anything to report on there at all, but it was submitted.
Just keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely.
That's the only, last two counties left, you know.
I wasn't aware of that, but.
That's too far.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Thank you all.
Commerce Housing Report. Oh, I didn't see him. She's sitting in the back.
Good afternoon. I had so much to report this afternoon, but since you're out of time now, I'm teasing. I do have foreclosure information for Counselor Kara. Callan Watts that I can send to you. I can email it to Gail and get it to everyone, an analysis on the rising foreclosures. Other than that, you have a copy of my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on to old business. Kara?
I move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Open it up for discussion. Jeanette?
The way I read this, I am against it as I was last time. I think we're going down a slippery slope here if we start dividing up things by district. And next thing you know, are we going to decide Light is going to be by district? If the need is there, it will be met. And I'm against this legislation.
Yes, I can't fathom why this legislation, if we're short on funds, why don't we just put some more funding into this program? That's what we've done in the past, and And if, you know, if we have a county up here that doesn't, that aren't being served, we need to find out why they're not being served. And, our district, and I believe that we could add funding to serve that area. And I can, you know, I don't understand what this is for, really. Thank you.
I also cannot support this in the form that it's in. The youth grant application funding, we've tried to always keep ahead of it and place money in that fund as needed. I'm not sure, at least in the last year, that we have had anyone on this body that declined to place money into the youth grant funding application pot as we needed it. I've always kind of viewed it as kind of like the cemetery money. As we need it, we'll place money in there. Right now, it appears that they've got funding for 840 more applications. If we see that it's getting low, I trust that Mr. Sutherland will advise us and that we'll find the money to bring it back up to a level that's acceptable for everyone here of this body. So I'll be voting against this resolution.
Chuck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a general proposition, I'm not opposed to the idea of divvying up funds, but on a program-by-program basis. This program is fairly new. I think it's been pretty successful, and I think we've been pretty good about, as the other counselors have noted, putting more funding in to the point where we now have enough funding to cover the pending applications, and we're reaching out for more. What I would like to see, and I think the program's already committed to doing it, is just do more outreach in the next fiscal year. I suspect we're going to fund this program again. So in addition to getting applications out to the field offices, I think it would be a good idea. Again, this all presupposes we have the staff and the resources to do it, but perhaps go out to the different areas in Cherokee Nation and just advertise that we're going to have a youth and adult grant application day. And I bet you that will drive some numbers up in some areas where perhaps folks don't know as much about this program as they do in other parts of Cherokee Nation. In my district, even in 2 counties in my district, I can look at one part of it where there's an active community group that really drums up the business, so to speak, because they know about it, and I can think of other parts of just, again, a 2-county part of my district where they don't. It's just because it's a new program. It takes a while to get people knowledgeable of it. So I don't support this because I do think the program is moving in the right direction. I think they'll do more outreach. I have confidence in them that they'll do what they can to get these numbers up, and everyone on this council will do what they can to get the numbers up across the nation. So, Mr. Chairman, I can't support it this time. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Normally I wouldn't see a need to bring stuff forward that is in this manner, but because for probably a year and a half, we've continually gotten information from our families and the kids this program serves, the youth, that they are almost consistently denied. And it's not where it's recorded, it's when they call down here to Tahlequah. So I'm glad to hear the initiatives where it's going to go out to our area offices, where it's closer to the folks. But I'm bringing this forward because this is not the first time we're having this discussion. So I guess we have to legislate it if it's not going to be implemented properly in the way that this body intended it. And because it's tribal funds, it is treated differently. I think we've, as a body, fairly consistently divvied out tribal funds across the areas that are served, because all parts of the Cherokee Nation are equal. And if you look at how the funding actually comes out, we're not treated equally in the north. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Okay. So just do.
For its resolution.
We'll try it voice by voice. All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Jill? Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
No.
Chuck Huskey Jr.,
No.
Hannah Gloria Jordan,
No.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick White,
No.
Curtis Snell,
No.
David Thornton,
No.
David Walkingstick,
No.
Kara Callan Watts,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Joe Byrd,
No.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk, Meredith Fraley, Janelle Fulbright,
No.
John Garvin.
Yes.
We have 6 yes and 9 no.
Resolution's failed. Okay, on to new business. I'm listed as the sponsor here. I wonder if I could get Janelle, could you read this out for us, please?
Yes. A resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families, Office of Child Care for Tribal, Maternal, Infant, and Early Childhood Home Visiting Grant Program.
Is Lori here? Lori Hand? Okay.
Like the second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any-
To be added as a sponsor.
I do too.
Oh, and I know Shelley has corrected this, but we've got the wrong chief on here.
Yeah. You've done it, okay.
Everybody?
Does everybody wish to be added as sponsor? Yes.
Is this one that needs to go tonight, that Shelley needs to prepare for
Yes.
tonight?
So the motion is to go to tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Motion is to go to tonight's council meeting. And so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And where we at? Okay, the next meeting is to tentatively schedule for Monday, August 13th at 2 p.m. Are there any announcements? To adjourn. Second. All in favor, adjourn?
10 minutes.